Hey there. We don't have very many of these left. This is actually the last full one of the regular season. And I say full one, I mean, full hour. By the way, this hour, is Leprechaun Lunch, of course, on Sports Radio WSBT. I'm Jim Irizarry. Yeah, next week, uh, we're getting kicked off at 12:45 for hockey. Gotta love that Thanksgiving sports schedule, hockey. So, I don't even remember who they're playing either. It'll come to me. Anyway, hope you're well. Hope you don't have any sort of craziness going on in your house heading up to Thanksgiving. Anyway, for me, my wife got sick, which is always helpful. Around the holidays, always helpful. Like kind of, sort of, like more just like a sniffle than anything. But like every night this week, she's just been milking it for all it's worth. Hilarious. So anyway, hope you're well. Happy, a preemptive happy Thanksgiving, because we're before the actual Thanksgiving. If it sounds like I'm kind of just all over the place and kind of meandering a little bit, I am, because this week was supposed to be like it just felt like it was supposed to be more of something, like Senior Day's tomorrow. It's it's the last home game of the season, regular season anyway. Who knows what the playoff may hold. But for all of the pageantry and the events leading up to Senior Day and all that stuff, I just wish that there was actually a game worth a damn to come after it. 2 or 3 months ago, that wasn't the issue. That wasn't going to be the case. It was at least going to be interesting. There was at least going to be some level of interest, because it was supposed to be Steve Angeli's return to Notre Dame. Of course, as you remember, taking back that trip back in time and all. Steve was in the the quarterback competition in spring camp, which, if you forgot, it was a 3-man race when it started. Steve had experience as his main selling point. He was behind Sam Hartman in 2023, appeared in 9 games there during the season, mostly garbage time, but still threw 4 touchdowns. Sam declares for the draft, sits out the Sun Bowl against Oregon State. Fun fact, if you don't remember back that far even either, so did most of Oregon State. Great favor, guys. But Steve got the start in that game, did very well, threw for 232 yards, 3 touchdowns. Like I said, Oregon State had damn near nobody. It probably would have been more even had it been like a 7-on-7 game. Coaches left, players transferred out, all that stuff. But still, Steve's performance that day made people around here, kind of go, Team Angeli. 2024 came around. They brought in Riley Leonard through the transfer portal. Definitely a good move. I don't think anybody, disputes that. Look at what happened last year. Also, let Steve, get a little bit more seasoning in that quarterback room as the QB2, as the guy behind Riley Leonard, who, 5th-year starter, so or at least multiple year starter at Duke. He was called on to replace him at the end of the first half in the Orange Bowl because Riley Leonard had to go through concussion protocol. That game changed. Like, Notre Dame was down 10-0 at that point. Steve goes 6 for 7, 44 yards, helps the Irish get a field goal heading into halftime. And then that gave Notre Dame a little bit of momentum heading into halftime, because they were going to be getting the opening kickoff to the second half. And that's where they tied the game. And just looked like a completely different team, quite honestly. Looked like they had finally woken up. But without him playing as well as he did, do they get that field goal? Who knows? So heading into spring camp this year, it was Steve Angeli, it was CJ Carr, it was Kenny Minchey. Steve didn't play up to the level set by CJ and Kenny. Marcus Freeman told him so. And Steve, probably saw that writing on the wall anyway. But, transferred to Syracuse. And, of course, everybody went and ran and looked at the schedule and went, oh! Because Syracuse was on the schedule for senior day. And I mean, if it provided any sort of chip on his shoulder, if it gave him any sort of, I'll show them type of mentality, it was certainly working. He beat out LSU transfer Ricky Collins for the starting job at Syracuse. So that right there kind of made things a little bit more interesting because, hey, here's a guy who kind of helped save our bacon in one of the playoff games last year, going against us. Okay, all right, I'm listening. And through 4 games this season, he was 3-1. Orange looked pretty good doing it too. Granted, against lesser competition and whatnot, they kind of got their butts handed to them by Tennessee. But that's that's like 2 different levels between those 2 programs. Like there's an obvious gap. But even in that game, he looked solid. He looked like a competent quarterback, which is really all you want out of a quarterback, isn't it? 10 touchdowns, just 2 interceptions through 4 weeks. He was second in the FBS, second in the entire FBS in passing yards with 1,316 through 4 weeks. He was putting up some damn good numbers. And then Clemson had to go and break him. Thanks, Dabo. You jerk. Actually, it's not really even his fault. Non-contact injury. Tore his Achilles, and that was that. And I'm not gonna lie, I felt bad when I read about that. Not even just for because that definitely affected this game coming up tomorrow, but also just because after everything that he had gone through, losing out at Notre Dame, having to transfer to Syracuse, winning that job, playing as well as he was, like that's just how can you not also feel that kick in the pants, that kick in the front of the pants. Kick in the back of the pants is good. Kick in the front of the pants, no bueno. Tore his Achilles, that was that. Syracuse hasn't won since, and they've looked god awful. they've made losing like there's different levels of losing. And granted, we all kind of figured that out early this season, when Notre Dame lost 2 top 15 team, 2 top 10 teams actually by a total of 4 points. And then, when one of those teams decided to bomb out against 2 unranked teams, and then, pitch just, yeah, we should be high. Yeah. More on that in a second. But this really could have been a great game, or at the very least, a very interesting one. One that people would have gone, for a season finale, for a senior day game, that one was pretty good. I'm thinking that even if Syracuse would have been able to keep it close, then like at least people are going, huh, okay, I remember this. I never thought Steve Angeli was a bad quarterback. That kind of proved it, So instead, now basically Notre Dame has to worry about beating the Orange far enough into submission that the CFP committee just can't drop them down the ranking. Like at the very least, holding them steady at 9. Don't expect a whole heck of a lot of movement in that top 12 either this week. Unless stuff hits the fan. Like Georgia loses to Charlotte type of stuff hitting the fan, Yeah, well. Marcus Freeman spoke Monday about hopefully being able to see Steve at the game tomorrow. It's unknown if he's traveling with the team to South Bend for the game, any of that. But Marcus Freeman had some comments on Monday. Sounds genuine there. And I don't think there's any sort of ill will from Steve Angeli either. He was like, hey, think that's what happened. And, I moved on. But man, this could have been so much more interesting. This really could, like this, like even if Syracuse is coming in here at 3-7, but with Angeli at quarterback, and he's, like it's mostly just because of their defense. Man, like that, it's still at least something to talk about. Couldn't even get that because, of a non-contact. That's the worst part of it too. Missing out on really a solid college football season because of a non-contact injury. Like I can't even imagine that. I can't even imagine how much of a heartbreak that's got to be, At least I think it would be a heartbreak anyway. What do I know? So, anyway, Notre Dame and Syracuse tomorrow, 3:30 kickoff, by the way. Our coverage will start at 11 a.m. Game day live at the linebacker one last time in the regular season. So join us for that. Don't worry. There's heaters. There's a tent. Everything's good. All right. Bring your thirst. Bring your hunger too. Good food at the linebacker. Good food. In the top 25 tomorrow, like I mentioned, I mean, it's really just kind of a like it. Let's see. Let's just look at the top 12 even. Look at that schedule. Okay. So in addition to Syracuse and Notre Dame, you've got Missouri at Oklahoma. That's definitely something that Irish fans should keep an eye on. If Missouri is able to pull that upset in Norman, that sets some things in motion. And then, you got Miami right there at number 13. They've got Virginia Tech. You've got USC and Oregon, number 15 versus number 7. That could set, if USC. Notre Dame has to root for USC tomorrow, I think. I think that's how convoluted everything is getting because of this damn playoff. Uh, but we got to root for USC this weekend to beat Oregon because Oregon's sitting at number 7, and if Oregon takes a tumble, all of a sudden Notre Dame's hosting another playoff game. Do we chip it? Do we buy Chad Bowden a thank you card? Do we send a bouquet to Kennedy Urlacher? What are we doing that? Some chocolates or something? I don't know. Looking elsewhere too. Utah at number 12 right now. They're hosting K-State. Number 11 BYU is at Cincinnati. If K-State and Cincinnati wanted to hang L's on Utah and BYU, be my guest. It only helps. So if there's one guy from ESPN to actually listen to as far as Notre Dame's fate is in the college football playoff, it's Greg McElroy. He's kept things pretty well down the middle, really for as long as he's been broadcasting. Like he's really, I think he's one of the better ones, one of the better college football analysts out there. He's got the Always College Football podcast, and he says that Notre Dame doesn't necessarily control its college football playoff fate. So outside of that, I mean, Rutgers at Ohio State, Samford at Texas A&M. Good late season FCS versus FBS matchup there. Charlotte at Georgia. IU's off this weekend. They get the bye week right before the bucket game. Does that seem fair? Eastern Illinois at Alabama. That's another FBS and FCS matchup. Like, just, come on. Like, for all of the bluster that the SEC puts up, I mean, like, come on, man. There's at least FBS teams that would make this look respectable. Nah. Nah. Well, anyway. Some picks coming up. Definitely got some picks. I mean, it 10-10 last week. Broke even. Hey. Hey. But yeah, like there's just like so few good matchups to actually talk about this weekend. Like the penultimate weekend of the regular season in college football. And like there's 3 games. 3 games worth the actual primetime scheduling that they get. One of those, of course, being Rutgers at Ohio State. That's not going to be a bloodletting. Seriously, Fox is going to show a murder at noon tomorrow. Congratulations, guys. Anyway, we'll make some picks coming up here in just a few. It's a bad schedule. It's another bad week. And this shouldn't be the bad week. Like, I get rivalry games all next weekend, and that'll be great, but this falls flat. Like, I'll go down this whole schedule, and you tell me if I'm in the wrong here, okay? That's coming up on Leprechaun Lunch, Sports Radio WSBT. Leprechaun Lunch, right now, brought to you by State Farm agent Tim Growl. For all of your insurance and financial needs, give Tim's agency a call at 574-232-9981. Speaking of Tim, tomorrow on game day, live at the linebacker starting at 11 a.m. Heated in the tent. Don't worry. Bring your coat anyway. You'll need it at the game. Duh. But yeah. Fighting Irish Tego. We've got the Irish Beatdown segment, which has been more fun than I thought it would be, and plenty more to come on game day. And then tomorrow, the network takes over. The Notre Dame radio network takes over at 2:30. Kickoff at 3:30. Once the network is done, I've got ND overtime 7:30, 8 o'clock, something like that. So all of the sound that you could possibly stomach, press conferences, all that stuff. So all tomorrow. Nobody does game day like us, damn it. And I mean that. I sincerely mean that. Let's see. Earlier this week, it might have been yesterday, but yeah, Jeremiah Love was on the Pat McAfee show. Senior day tomorrow. Get to your seats early, by the way, for all the pregame stuff that goes on. Show your appreciation. Are they honoring Jeremiah Love though? It would probably be a big headline if they did. If they were, they'd probably, would be if they, if he trotted out during the senior day intros, it could be it for him at Notre Dame Stadium. You don't know. Could be it. I'll be amazed if he's back next year. Genuinely amazed. Hell, I'll be amazed if Jadarian Price is back next year too. Let's just throw both of them in there. Although with NIL, who knows? Who knows? Anyway, J Love was on the Pat McAfee show this week talking about how this year's team feels compared to last. It's all you can do, especially in regards to controlling your own fate. So anyway, 10-10 last week, breaking even, hitting 500, hitting double-digit wins though. Hey. Let's go down this top 25 schedule, by the way, real quick. So you got Syracuse at Notre Dame. Number 22, Missouri at number 8, Oklahoma. Okay, that could mean something. Number 13, Miami at Virginia Tech. Number 15, USC at number 7, Oregon. That should be a good game too, anyway. K-State at number 12, Utah. Number 11, BYU at Cincinnati. Number 18, Michigan at Maryland. Rutgers at number 1, Ohio State. Samford at number 3, Texas A&M. FCS and FBS. So in November, Charlotte at number 4, Georgia. Shockingly not an FCS FBS matchup. But this one is Eastern Illinois at number 10, Alabama. You got Kentucky at number 14, Vanderbilt. You got Arkansas at number 17, Texas. You got number 24, Tulane at Temple. You got TCU at number 23, Houston. Pitt at number 16, Georgia Tech. Hey, Pat Narduzzi, there's a game for you to care about. Number 20, Tennessee in the swamp at Florida. Number 21, Illinois at Wisconsin. And number 25, Arizona State at Colorado. Bring on the Thanksgiving lineup. Holy hell. Okay. 1, 2, maybe 3. Ugh. Ugh. Still a chance to win some dough, though. Keep in mind, I was 10-10 last week, so buyer beware. The total for Syracuse and Notre Dame tomorrow is 50.5. I think we're going to go over that tomorrow, and I think that's got to be mostly Notre Dame doing that. Like, if Notre Dame's not responsible for 40 of those points, could be an interesting Tuesday. Number 22, Missouri at number 8, Oklahoma. I think that's not going to be a necessarily defensive battle either. 42.5, the number on that one, too. So I think we're going to go over there. Number 13, Miami. You heard them complaining all damn week about being ranked lower than Notre Dame, even though they beat Notre Dame early on. Well, first of all, if you don't want any sort of, if you don't want people to even think that you're not good enough to be in the playoff, don't lose to Louisville and SMU when they're unranked, okay? Like, you only beat Notre Dame by 3 anyway, all right? Notre Dame's 2 losses are by a combined 4 points. You got shellacked by 2 unranked teams. Good job, guys. Shut up, sit down. Virginia Tech and the points. That's an 18.5 point spread there. Virginia Tech and the points. Because I can see Miami just blowing it. Put that on your tape. Distribute it around South Florida if you want. I don't care. Va-Tech, baby. Got to play well for the new coach, Even though James Franklin isn't coaching the team. But, you want to impress the new guy. Number 15, USC at number 7, Oregon. One of those actual good games tomorrow. And it just screams points. Just screaming points. The last 10 meetings between USC and Oregon have produced at least 54 points. 8 of them going over 60. Good God. Probably going to see another high-scoring game on Saturday. Neither one of these teams known for their defense, although Oregon's defense did start Penn State's descent down the toilet. So the issue that USC faces is it struggles to stop the run, which we know all about here. The Trojans are allowing close to 170 yards rushing in their last 3 games each. When the Ducks are able to run the football, it sets everything else up that they can do offensively. It lets Dante Moore make big plays down the field. If Oregon gets the running game going early, USC's defense is in for a long day. And I expect Oregon's offense to have probably one of its best performances of the season. Because, they're trying to impress the committee, too. They're trying to move, maybe somehow get into that top 4 land. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. Team total on Oregon is looking very attainable. 34.5. So take that. Take Oregon's team total going over 34.5 points. Because like I said, produce at least 54 points in the last 10 meetings, 8 of them going over 60. One of these teams is getting the 35 points. More than likely going to be Oregon, too. K-State at number 12, Utah, a 4 o'clock kick. Of course, they put, one of the best games on against Notre Dame, and when we're all going to be watching that one. Thanks. K-State at number 12, Utah. 17.5 point spread on this game. That's a huge number to lay in a conference game this late in the season. But I think there's enough of a gap in recent form to think that this game could get a little sideways. K-State's 5-5, clearly hasn't had the season that it expected. Now faces its second straight road game in one of the toughest places to play in the country. Utah's home field advantage. Whew. The Utes have put up 45-plus points in three straight Big 12 wins, winning each of those games by at least 27 points. That's just in general. At home, even bigger. While the Utes are buzzing, though, K-State, after a fairly god-awful offensive performance in a 14-6 win at Oklahoma State. God, remember when they used to be interesting, too? I think Utah just runs away with this one. So, yeah, play that 17.5. If they don't cover that, I will be upset. In addition to, whoever else makes that pick too. Number 11 BYU at Cincinnati. That's a close game. Cincinnati's at home. Night game. Although, weather doesn't really matter between those two. They're both kind of in the same kind of climate. BYU only favored by 2.5 points, so that's going to be a close game. I think Cincinnati covers that. I think Cincinnati could pull off the upset there. So that would be a little helpful in a way. Number 18, Michigan at Maryland. I think Maryland covers that 14.5 point gap there. Michigan's offense, Underwood is kind of up and down, kind of streaky. If he doesn't have a good game, that's a defensive struggle, which plays right into Maryland's game. I also think Rutgers covers 32.5 points tomorrow at number 1 Ohio State. Ohio State, until somebody comes along and beats them, yes, they deserve to be number 1. Okay, fine. But man, they let the foot off the gas early, don't they? This game could be decided by halftime very easily. We're kind of banking on it, really. But 32.5? I think I'm not going to be surprised if this one ends 38-10. That's all I'm going to say. 38-10 thanks to a garbage time touchdown. I'm just saying. Samford at number 3, Texas A&M at noon. No numbers there because, obvious gap. FCS, FBS, all that. Georgia's giving 44.5 tomorrow against Charlotte. And I think they're going to cover that. You talk about bloodlettings. At least they're putting that on, I think, the SEC network tomorrow. I think. I'm not sure. I think it's on the SEC. Either that or ESPN2. They're kind of burying that one a little bit. Kind of hoping nobody sees a murder happen. So, Eastern Illinois at number 10, Alabama at 2 p.m. Another FCS, FBS. Number 14, Vanderbilt hosting Kentucky at 3:30. Vandy favored by 8.5. I think they cover that. Kentucky, another one of those teams that has not had the season that they thought they were going to have. I think Mark Stoops is kind of playing for his job. I don't think he's got the talent to help keep his job either. So, Kentucky's 500. I think Vanderbilt's just a better team. They got a better quarterback. So, Arkansas is at number 17, Texas. Texas favored by 8.5 points. I think Texas covers that game pretty well, pretty handily. Number 24, Tulane at Temple at 3:45. Temple has had 2 weeks to prepare for this revenge game against Tulane. Tulane beat the Owls last year 52-6. This will be Tulane's third road game in the last 4 weeks. Tulane lost to UTSA, Texas San Antonio on the road, 48-26. It's the most lopsided defeat. Temple defeated UTSA as 6-point home underdogs. The Owls are 7-3 against the spread this season. Need a victory to secure win number 6, which of course gets them into a bowl game. While they may not win, I think getting 8.5 points or 9.5 points seems like an inflated line. Don't you? 9.5. Tulane's got a bunch of players that are listed as questionable, so you don't, who knows who the hell's playing tomorrow. Their running back, Maurice Turner, their wide receiver, Garrett Mahat, tight end, LaRon Husbands, all dealing with undisclosed injuries. It's kind of like a hockey game, almost. 12 players from the Green Wave currently listed as questionable. 12? My goodness. Like, can you do that, actually? Who knows? TCU at number 23, Houston at 4 o'clock. That's another close game. Houston's only favored by 1.5. I think TCU could pull the upset. Pitt getting a game that it can care about again, right? Pat Narduzzi. But they're 2.5-point underdogs at Georgia Tech. I think Georgia Tech's going to win that game. Number 20, Tennessee at Florida. Like, you would think that that's going to be all offense. 57.5 points is the point total on that one. Take the under on that. Florida's defense not terrible. Tennessee's kind of up and down. They're on the road. Like in Knoxville, I'm taking the over in this game. In the Swamp, though? Number 21, Illinois is at Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin, playing for a little bit of home pride there. That season fell off just shot off, rocketed off the rails. Wisconsin's getting at 8.5 points. I think they cover that tomorrow night under the lights at Camp Randall. I wouldn't mind seeing that. Of course, Notre Dame and Wisconsin is at Lambeau Field next year, so we won't get to see that. And then number 25, Arizona State is at Colorado. Colorado circling the bowl a little bit as well. 3-7. Arizona State giving 7.5 on this game. I think they cover that pretty handily in Boulder. So, to review, Syracuse at Notre Dame taking the over between Missouri and Oklahoma. Virginia Tech covers. Oregon goes over 34.5 points themselves. A team total bet there. Utah covers, Cincinnati covers, Maryland covers, Rutgers covers, Georgia covers, 44 and a hook. Vandy covers, Texas covers, Temple covers, TCU covers, Georgia Tech covers, Tennessee and Florida go under. Wisconsin covers there, and then Arizona State covers against Colorado. So here we go. We'll talk a little NFL coming up. All the games that matter around here are all 1 o'clock games. So we'll talk about that a little bit coming up. Leprechaun lunch wrapping up after this on Sports Radio WSBT. Game day getting underway at 11 a.m. tomorrow, live at the Linebacker. Join us out there. Frank Pomerico going to be joining us from the 1973 National Championship team. Frank's always a good listen, too, even. Just tune in for that. Frank knows what he's talking about as far as football goes. Always good to talk to Frank. Kickoff at 3:30, of course. So be there early. Be in your seats early for senior day. Just saying. Little NFL betting talk right now. Why not? All Bears kick off at 1, the Lions kick off at 1, the Colts kick off at 1. The last time I checked, the Bears were on the schedule for the 1 o'clock slot on 22. And the Lions and Giants get the Fox slot here locally. Colts fans right now are driving off of the road. Like, is there anything worse than a Colts fan when they're good? Ugh. Like I can't hate that team. You know, Jonathan Taylor, for God's sakes, how can you not watch that guy play football? But anyway, things could change. Who knows? If Colts fans make enough noise, who knows? You never know. Anyway, let's start with the Steelers and Bears. Unclear if Aaron Rodgers will suit up. As a Bears fan, aren't you kind of rooting for that? I mean, I'd be. Either way, I like Pittsburgh catching a full field goal against the 7-3 Bears. Like, the Bears, they lead with a plus 16 turnover margin, which is insane. And they've been outscored on the season. How does that work? Mason Rudolph, experienced backup. He can limit mistakes. Steelers running game should be able to find some success against a banged up Chicago defense. 3 starting linebackers for the Bears were unable to practice yesterday because of injury. Bears also give up 6.2 yards per play, which is better than only Washington and Cincinnati. Ugh. Yeah, Pittsburgh, this will be another close one. It's going to be another, comeback kid Bears victory if that happens. So, but I like Pittsburgh covering those points at least. That 2 in the hook. The Giants travel to Detroit to take on the Lions at 1 o'clock tomorrow. 3 rules here that you should live by. Never play cards with a guy who has the same first name as a city. That's 1. Never date a woman with a tattoo of a dagger on her body. That's 2. And the 3rd rule is never blink when the Lions are double-digit favorites at home against a bad secondary coming off of an embarrassing primetime loss. You live by those 3 rules, and your life will be fine. Seriously, like the Lions are going to smash this. Smash this one. This line is going to move up, too. It's at 10 now. Started at 10.5, so the fact that that dropped that half point, a little surprising. But word just coming out, too, the Jackson Dart experience going to be on the bench this week for the Giants. So that means more Jameis, which means more dumb interceptions. Seriously, if anybody has Jameis Winston as your fantasy quarterback, what are you doing? Jameis Winston against a secondary that flips aggressive throws into good field position and or points. Huh. What would I take? And then also at 1 o'clock, the Colts at Kansas City, which, that's not a terrible early slate, even if all three teams that people care about for the most part around here are all playing at the same time. Chiefs came off of a bye facing a must-win scenario to stay alive in their division race last week. And instead, Patrick Mahomes looked like he body switched with Bo Nix. Yeesh. Colts number one offense in yards per play, a team with a decent edge over the Chiefs on defense as well. Although DeForest Buckner, he's on IR right now, missing the next 4. Turnovers have been the only thing to trip up the Colts offense, really. And yet the Chiefs defense managed no turnovers against 5 of the 6 top teams it faced, losing 4 of those games. This is not your brother's Chiefs team. This game should be close no higher than 3 anywhere, really. Mostly seeing Colts as 3.5-point underdogs here. And there's just something about the Colts in Kansas City that I don't understand why they're so successful at it. I don't understand. So Colts in the points tomorrow. All right. You heard it from here. Anyway, see you tomorrow, 11 a.m. Game day gets underway then, live at the Linebacker.